So from WhatCulture here with the one and only Johnny Gargano. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I've been signing autographs for about, I don't know what time it is anymore because I'm a dad and I don't keep track of time, I guess, anymore. I've been signing autographs nonstop for about 4 hours. I literally got off the plane here in Dallas at noon. I took an Uber over here and started signing autographs, and I had a huge line, and it's been crazy because I'm glad that people still like to see me a little bit.
I was going to say, now, because you're a human being,
Yeah.
you leave a big company, and I was going to suppose, well, I know this, I have done it in my own life, you have that thing in your brain that goes, oh, are people going to remember me?
All the time, yeah.
So when you come here and you realize that you are a massive deal.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because I still see myself as just like, I don't know, just a dude, and now I'm just a dad, I guess. But like you said, I haven't done anything in forever. So there is that thought process in the back of your head. Will people remember you? Do people, bye. And it's really fun to see people I haven't seen in forever. Will people remember you? Do people still care? And to come here and see a huge line. I think some people were saying it was the longest line in WrestleCon, which is wild. I should not have the longest line in WrestleCon. I'm whatever. But yeah, it's amazing, man. It's awesome to see that people still care. It makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Warm and fuzzy in his tum-tum. That's a stupid line that I say, you have to forgive me. How does it feel as well? Because you have had like the quintessential wrestling journey, in the way that it's written down. You do the smaller companies, you build it up, you get to WWE. And now that you've left and you're a free agent, you can literally sign wherever you want. What does that do to you?
It messes with your head a lot too, because like I said, I'm a very, I have a lot of FOMO, and I'm not very confident in myself, so I don't really make decisions and stick to them. So in this current time period of my life, there's so many options on the table, so many things that I could be doing this, I could be doing that. Am I making the right decision? Am I making the wrong decision? I have to worry about now a baby and a little human being I got to take care of. So it's one of those things to where I'm kind of taking things one day at a time, 1 month at a time. And I hope that when I'm ready to come back and I'm ready to get back in a wrestling ring, that something will show itself to me. I'll have a message from somewhere that will tell me that this is the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. Well, I think you just said something there that's massively important, because people do see you as a major star in wrestling, and you yourself just said, I don't have much confidence, or I have like confusion. But I'm sure you do know this, because you in interviews and on social media, you're very open with your feelings and emotions. That is so helpful to get that message out there, and I think that's one of the reasons you're so relatable, because I don't mean to break it down like this, but it's words that people understand. Mental health is a massive, and when people see someone that has as much success as you had, being so open about it, they then feel better about whatever struggles they're going through.
And that's a big reason why I do open up so much, and like maybe I overshare, or maybe I'm too much of an open book, but I feel like if there's someone out there that is going through something that can relate to what I'm going through, or they can look at me and be like, Johnny Gargano, this kid did this kid did that, this kid lived his dream, and he still doubts himself. If he's going through that and I'm going through that, maybe everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what I always say. Everything's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not the end, if it's not okay, it's not the end. I mean, that's...
Totally, man. Yeah. And it'd be remiss of me not to ask you, how is fatherhood going? I mean, you mentioned you're really tired.
Yeah. So I got a little monster that doesn't sleep and just eats constantly. I think the 3 hours that I slept on my plane is the most continual sleep I've had in about 2 months.
Wow.
But I mean, it is very fulfilling to be able to have this little thing. And that's the craziest thing to me, is like me and Candace made this little thing, and like I'm holding it and he can't even hold his head up, and yet one day he's just gonna look at me and be like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, that's amazing to me. Like, you can't even hold your head up, and one day you're gonna be like, hey Dad, how are you? You wanna watch the Browns game? Like, that's literally what's gonna happen one day. So fatherhood is everything that I expected it to be, and nothing like I expected it to be at the same time.
Well, congratulations, man, as we are here. Talking about, I suppose, another child in a wrestling sense, I have to ask you this, because of course you were a face of, we'll call it NXT 1.0, I suppose now. Yep. What do you think about 2.0 at the moment? I guess you're probably not catching up as much as you possibly would want to, but the change is, for, against, how do you feel?
I watch everything.
Okay.
I mean, you can watch my YouTube video. Me and Candace are watching AEW in the hospital bed. We're watching NXT 2.0 in the hospital bed. We're watching Elimination Chamber in the hospital bed. I'm a wrestling fan, first and foremost, so I watch everything. I will say, like, especially what's going on this weekend with Stand and Deliver and what could potentially be Tomasso's last NXT match. Like, Tomasso has meant so much to that brand. There wouldn't be a Johnny Wrestling if there wasn't a Tomasso Ciampa. But also in the same regard, I know this has been echoed a few times, but there needed to be a change. And now I feel like NXT 2.0 is going in a completely different direction, doing things completely differently, but also they're still being very successful at it and making people that are hopefully successful for years to come, like a Bron Breakker. I use Bron Breakker, for example, all the time as someone where I feel like if you take someone from a different walk of life that maybe didn't do the indies, and you put them in the performance center, you need that person to still love this. You need that person to still have that passion to want to get better. Because if you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have passion for this, it's going to shine through. You're going to come off as fake. Bron, in that regard, is a diamond, to where he's someone who genuinely cares and is genuinely going to be very successful for years to come. So it's awesome to see guys like him that genuinely care get a spotlight and a showcase. Bron, Cora Jade, the list goes on and on. So I will be watching Stand and Deliver and rooting on those guys because for my money, like I said, if I am the heart and soul of NXT, I still do have a lot of friends and people that work there, and I will always be rooting them on.
Hell yeah. I have one last question for you, and I'll leave you alone.
Yep.
You mentioned FOMO earlier.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of your fans say that it would have been awesome. And look, this still can happen in the future. We are not done to see you have a proper run on a Raw or a SmackDown. How do you feel about that?
WWE at the end of the day was always the company I watched growing up.
Exactly.
Like, it was my dream to be there. Like, it was my dream to wrestle for that company, and I had a hell of a run there. There is a big part of me that still feels a little unfulfilled. I felt like towards the end of my NXT run, I felt complete. I felt like I did everything I possibly could in NXT. But for me, I am always this kind of underdog that is looking for different mountains to climb and different hills to topple over. I just wanted a new mountain to climb. And the time period worked out to where I could take a little bit of break, reset, reassess things, figure out what I want out of this thing. But I'd be lying if I didn't say there's a little part of me that still doesn't want to. There's a little part of me that says, you could wrestle at WrestleMania one day.
And that's it. I think people forget. I imagine when you got your contract through and it had those 3 initials at the top, that 6-year-old in yourself is like, what is going on?
Yeah. Like I said, it is a dream come true to wrestle there. And I still dream of one day being Intercontinental Champion, being WWE Champion, wrestling at WrestleMania. Those are still goals I haven't hit. And like you said, I'm only 34 years old right now. I have a long way to go. I've accomplished a lot of things, but I'm far from done. And, I mean, you look at Shawn Michaels, for instance. He came back at like 38, and he had a hell of a run. So you never know what could happen in the future.
So Johnny Gargano back at 38 then, yeah? Good 4 or 5 years. And then
No, I said I was going to retire at 40, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, done.
You got 5 years left of me. That's 5 years.
Enjoy him, damn it.
Yeah.
He's not going to be here for long.
Nope.
Johnny, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with everything.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Like, share, subscribe.